Hi everyone, and welcome back to Wander Freely. Chris and I have stayed in over 150 campgrounds, and we have chosen our top 4 to share with you. We are in no way affiliated with these campgrounds. We love them and we keep going back to them. This is the second video in our 2-part series, and we're going to be covering 2 of those campgrounds today. We always find that it is a combination of the campground along with the surrounding area that makes a visit worth repeating. Let's take a look at what made these campgrounds so special to us. Let's go camping. Our first campground today is the Ruby-Doo RV Park in Gering, Nebraska. Gering is located right next to Scotts Bluff, where the Scotts Bluff National Monument is located. The campground is owned and run by the local municipality, and we love it for the huge concrete RV sites. Seriously, I think these are the biggest sites in any RV park we have visited. And all the spots are this big. It is a great layout. We also like the cost at this campground. The full hookup rate is $33 a night, which is reasonable for the huge space, but we don't have a TV and so we don't use cable. The cost without cable is only $30 a night for full hookups. I like campgrounds that break up the fees so that if you don't use something, you don't have to pay for it. And we don't see that very often. We also happen to love this location because it sits in the shadows of Scotts Bluff National Monument. The view is great from the RV park, and the huge sites make it easy to sit outside and enjoy it. And watching the sunsets around here is something everyone should have the opportunity to experience. They also have tremendous storms that roll through that just may make Nebraska my favorite place to watch the sky. From the RV park, it is only a few miles to the National Monument, which is located at a major milestone for the Oregon Trail. Originally, the trail passed through at Ruby-Doo Pass a little south, but then the Army Corps of Engineers opened Mitchell Pass through the bluffs for the overland travelers. You can try to imagine, after so many endless days of traveling the open prairie, the welcome sight of these huge bluffs that mark the tail end of the prairie and more mountainous travel ahead. And you may be a little surprised by the coaster ride to the top. It is really steep with tunnels. Chris loves it. Me, not so much. The steep view gets me, but the views at the top are worth it. Ooh, it's pretty high up.
That's a pretty good drop.
You can see the visitor center, and in the distance behind the bluffs is a ridgeline that starts the Wildcat Hills. That is a state park where you can hike. They have bighorn sheep, bobcat, and even some mountain lions. The Panhandle of Nebraska is a very wild part of the state that maintains its western cowboy and rancher roots. As soon as you head north of Scotts Bluff, you get into some very wild, pristine country. In fact, Nebraska is the first place that we saw wild bison, magpies, and pronghorn antelope. Speaking of firsts, Scotts Bluff is the first and only place that Chris has gotten pulled over by the police. Come to think of it, this is the only place that Chris and I have gotten pulled over in our entire marriage, which is going on 14 years. Anyway, he got off with a warning, and he still to this day swears that he was not speeding. Other nearby points of notice are Chimney Rock. It doesn't look much like a chimney anymore due to erosion, but it was another major milestone on the Oregon Trail. Also, the grave of Rebecca Winters is memorialized in Gering. She succumbed to cholera on the trail, and a family member etched her name in a wagon wheel to mark her gravesite, which still exists today. Besides all the hiking and sights, we just like to enjoy the Nebraska sky. That sky is your travel companion in Nebraska, changing each day, giving you something new to be amazed by. It ties us to all the overland travelers who have eagerly watched its nuances to entertain them and inspire them to continue farther down the trail. And farther down the trail we must go. This time we are heading north from the Scotts Bluff up to the Black Hills in South Dakota. The Black Hills are an RVer's dream. There are tons of different campgrounds, and there's a whole lot to see in a relatively small area. You have the native Indian history, Custer and the Gold Rush, Mount Rushmore, rodeos, hiking and mountain views, prairies and bison, caves to explore, Deadwood with Calamity Jane and Wild Bill Hickok, and that is just naming a few. But we found a campground that we love that sits at the north end of the Black Hills where it is not so crowded. It is not really a campground, more of a resort. Everything about it is beautiful, and it is at the higher end of the places we choose to stay. It is a huge park with over 300 spots. Every spot is large, concrete, and has a beautiful view of the Black Hills. It has a pool, a tennis court, basketball court, and more. It even has a cafe. It is a great place for visitors as they have cabins for rent too. We had the privilege of my father and mother staying with us several years ago, and then on our trip this summer, we met my sister, her 4 kids, and my mother there. Sharing the experiences you love with those you love the most makes any place special, and with my father's passing over the winter, I don't need to tell you how grateful I was to visit there again, knowing that I had shared it with him. The entrance to Spearfish Canyon is nearby, and that is one of our favorite parts of the Black Hills. It is quieter and less crowded, which is appealing to us and has been a theme for our top campgrounds. The canyon has beautiful bare rock peaks with the quintessential Black Hills pines. There is crystal clear water and waterfalls to enjoy. There is hiking, ATVing, and other activities in the canyon. That does it for our top 4 campgrounds. I put a bunch of links in the description below for you to check out. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Coming soon is a video all about our truck, the difference between our diesel and now our gas truck for towing. As soon as Chris gets a chance, we're going to be putting that video together for you. So look for that in the coming videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.